Are you ready to make the switch? Welcome back, everybody. It's Levi McPherson, author of The Switch Point Strategy, a simple approach to changing your process so that you can change your outcome. Now, what we're doing today is a continuation of the conversation on how to create your own wealth economy. Last time we talked about how your own wealth economy is equal to your circle of influence. We talked about how the strength of your economy is based on how quick currencies are exchanged. And then we also talked about how value is created in that economy. And then today we want to talk about the circles of control. How do you create leverage in your economy? Well, the first thing that a lot of times people don't understand is the difference between control and influence. Obviously, you want to focus your efforts on things that you have control of. Well, I'm going to say something that may be a little bit challenging, but here it goes. The only difference between control and influence is a probability of outcomes. So, if you told me I needed to make a fist, right? I am almost 100% sure that I can make it. However, there is a very, very minute probability that an airplane could fly through the window and smash my hand, or I could have it could seize up, or something could happen to prevent it. All right? So there is a probability that it couldn't happen, but the reality is most of the time it's going to happen. Influence, as a definition, on the other hand, is something that we have a much lower probability that it's going to occur. It doesn't have to be much lower, but it's definitely lower than what we, from a semantic standpoint, define as something that's within our control. So if you take that principle and you apply it to your wealth economy, I talked a little bit about how there are different currencies. In a real world economy, or in the financial economy, value or wealth is created with two components. One, when we reinvest, and two, when we exchange. We talked about that last time, how the faster that currencies are being exchanged, then the stronger the economy. Well, for our personal for a personal portfolio, the more that I reinvest back into my my assets, then the more that value is going to grow, as long as those currencies are continuing to exchange. So in creating your own wealth economy, you have to look at things that can be exchanged. For example, I mentioned last time intellectual property. If I have something that you want to know, there are two ways that I can control the value of that intellectual property. One, I can reinvest back into it. I can learn, I can continue to expand and research that knowledge so that I become a true expert. Because remember, value comes from demand and uniqueness. So the more specialized that I get, then the higher the value of that, as long as it is something that we all demand. And then the other component to create value that I can control is if I know what that demand is, I can put that intellectual property out there for exchange. Now I can exchange it for money, I can exchange it for cash if that's something that people are willing to pay for, or again, as I mentioned before, you can exchange it for a whole series of other things that we could conceptually call currencies. I could trade my knowledge to you in exchange for your knowledge. I could exchange my knowledge to you in exchange for 2 weeks at your beach house. There's a whole bunch of things that we can do, but remember, again, the strength of our economies are based on when that value transaction is realized. So in the next video, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about how we create a process for value exchange in our own wealth economies. So until that next time, go out and make it happen, and we'll see you on the other side.